Hey there guys, ALH here coming to another video, and today we're going to go right on to it and we're going to talk about the new socketing system and how it works. Now the new socketing system has been introduced to Wizard101 and introduces all sorts of cool little gems that you can apply to your themes, amulets, rings, and decks. Now basically how this works is there are gems in the spiral all scattered throughout the spiral, from bosses to little minions that can drop this, from some things like resistance points to major things like crit or even item cards. Each shape has their own distinctive stat, like for example squares will focus on more on defense and crit block. Triangle will focus more on accuracy and item cards. Circle jewels will focus more on damage and crit, and tier jewels will focus more on health, mana, energy. I do believe that there is one for energy as well. I do believe that for the other stats may apply to the other gems, like stun resist will be square and so on. Now this interface you can access by the Affix jewel button within your backpack, and you can affix your jewels with gear if they have the slots. Like for instance, I can affix my Wolf Lances of Shivers because it had a tier slot, 2 circle slots, and a triangle slot. You'll notice I won't be able to for these because these do not have sockets, though apparently they may add them in the future, I'm not sure. So let's say you just finished farming and you wanted to go affix your Wolf Lances of Shivers. All you do is click the Affix jewel and it will bring up this interface. Now let's say you managed to find a polished piercing amethyst, and it is a circle jewel, so you can affix that onto your theme if you have any of the circle slots open. If you do, then all you need to do is affix it, and then boom, you get the stats added onto your little theme. If you want to get it back, however, you can't. You have to farm the boss that you got it from over again. So if you do find that one gem that you think is really cool and you want to keep it, then you better write down somewhere in a notepad or something of what boss drops it, so you can farm for it again in case you shatter it. Shattering is where you can get rid of the gems, however it will get rid of the gem altogether, not just on your piece of gear. What else you can do with your gems is, well, what else you can do with the socketing is you may encounter these locks. So you'll notice that with these locks, you know, the sockets are locked and I can't do anything. Like I want to put my Crack Defense Amethyst on it, but I can't do it. So what you got to do is unlock all sockets. And what you'll need to do is, for the item, to unlock those sockets, you're going to need an Artisan Socket Wrench. Or you can pay 150 crowns. Now there are many wrenches in the spiral, from Novice to Artisan, Master, and Adept, and so on and so forth. You'll need them to unlock these jewels. However, once you use that wrench, it'll be used up. So it's kind of like the same principle with skeleton keys, where once you use it, it's gone. So for this instance, we'll just pay the crowns. And then all the sockets have been locked. So now I can affix any square onto the socket, because there are 2 squares and I have 2 squares here. So here's an defense amethyst. Let me affix that. And as it says right here, once the jewel is affixed, it must be shattered to be removed from the socket. So I want to fix that. And now I have 3 points of stone resist. And I want to add the Hermatite. So let's affix that. And there we go. Now since I put that onto my Last Wood Defender's jewel, now you'll notice I have 3 storm points of reduced damage and 44 points of reduced shadow damage. Now I know you're thinking, geez, 44 shadow resist, 30 storm resist, that's OP. Well, actually, this is a new stat that you can see in your character window. As you notice, there's percent and plus. With the plus, it'll basically add value instead of a percent. So with adding, it'll add the value of damage, or adding resistance, it'll add more reduced damage incoming. So let's say I equip the last with the finished jewel, and you'll notice that these points come up. So instead of 3% resist, there's 3 points of storm resist, which means that if you get hit by a wild bolt, that's 1,000, you have 0 resist, and your opponent has 0 damage, you only get hit for 997 instead. That's how it works. Same for damage. You do, let's say, an ice spell that's like 500 ice damage. Since I have 11, it'll just do 511, and then my percent gets applied. So basically, flat gets applied first for damage, and then I believe for resisting it, flat gets applied last, I believe. I'm not sure. There are many types of these gems throughout the spiral, and each of them have their own unique name based upon their school. So for instance, Jade is life, Onyx is death, Amethyst is storm, Shattering is balance. Let's see now, what else can we find? Well, let's look at, well, basically one way to do this is if you go through reagents. So Amethyst is storm, let's see now, Shattering is balance, Jade is life, Onyx is death, Sapphire is ice, Ruby is fire, Peridot is myth, and Onyx is death. I believe I went through all of it. Yes. And of course there's also Opal, which is universal. Which is where we go into jewel crafting. That's not jewel crafting. Oops. Okay, so we go to the recipe page, and once you go all the way down, you'll notice that there's a page for recipes. You can get these recipes from vendors throughout the spiral. These 95 ones I got from the vendor in Sardonyx. So with these jewels, Opal level 95 plus, I can use that to craft a random opal that's level 95, and it could be anything. So right now I need one more orichalcum, so I'll go farm that later. But for now, let's talk a little bit more about the jewels. Unless I covered everything. Yeah, it looks like I covered everything. So sometimes you'll find cards, like let's say this one is Humongofrog Peridot, I believe. See, Humongofrog Peridot. So you can find cards, and once you affix that, and cards are always triangle from what we've seen so far. Once you fix that, you'll get that item card. So let's say I equip the Duelist Fatal Razor, since it has the Humongofrog Peridot affixed to it. And we go to my spell deck. You'll notice that I have the Humongofrog item card. So that is basically jewel affixing. Now let's move on to crafting. With the new jewel update, there's been a number of new reagents that have been added to the game, such as orichalcum, and mithril, and so on. You can find these little recipes from certain recipe vendors, like 95 plus. You can find them in Sardonyx. I believe it's the vendor that offers the deck strings and the themes, and you can get the gems. And that's where the gem crafting station comes in handy, right here. So once you craft this, you'll get a random opal, and requirement level 95 plus. So since I'm level 95, I have the reagents and the opals. You can buy the opals from reagent vendors throughout the spiral. So let's go in here and let's create it. And let's see what I get. I got a polished health opal plus 91, which means that if I go to my affix jewels, and you'll see the here it is, the polished health opal. It is a tier, so I will get 91 extra health, which is not bad. So potentially if I stack this up, I can get quite a number of stats. So why don't we put that on my Deck of Shadows winner. I'll probably put that on this one. So let's affix it. As you can see, the socket is locked, so I'm just going to lock it because I do not have the Artisan socket wrench. So let's unlock that. And there we go. And let's put the polished health opal on there. And let's affix that on, and there we go. I got 91 extra health now from my little deck. And now I got 130 health from it, just not bad. And there we go. 91 health added onto my deck because it had the tier slot. Though, in my opinion, I feel that getting the triangle slot will be much more better to get the extra item card. So I can do that because even if the Village of Carpathia's Case doesn't have it, you can go buy the recipes from the recipe vendor in Darkmoor, which will offer you the same deck, except you can unlock different slots. It'll require the old Village of Carpathia's Case, however, and the moats again. So that's basically a quick explanation on the new jewel system. There's tons of jewels out there, from crit to stun resist to item cards, and there's more to be discovered from bosses. Thank you all for watching, and if you liked it, just leave a like in the description and subscribe for more test realm updates. I'll keep you guys covered, and maybe one day I'll cover those things over there. Thank you.